What if I told you that everything holding you back, every fear, every doubt, every excuse isn't real? What if I told you that the barriers you think exist are nothing more than illusions you've accepted as truth? Sounds crazy, right? But let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you feel stuck? Why you feel like you're running on a treadmill instead of climbing the mountain of your dreams? Here's the truth: freedom isn't something out there. It's not a destination, a dollar amount, or a title. Ultimate freedom begins in one place, and one place only: your mind. Now think about it. What are the stories you tell yourself every day? I can't start that business. I'll fail. I can't leave this relationship. What if I'm alone forever? I am too old. I am too young. It's too late for me. Does that sound familiar? These aren't just words, they are chains. Chains you forged link by link over the years. Chains that have kept you from soaring to the heights you were born to reach. But here's the good news: those chains, they are not made of steel. They are made of fear, doubt, and conditioning, and they can be broken. Let me tell you a story. There's a man I know, we'll call him John. John was stuck. He worked a job he hated, every day feeling like he was sacrificing a piece of his soul. He dreamed about starting his own business, doing something he loved, something that would give his life meaning. But every time he thought about taking the leap, the same thoughts would flood his mind. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if people laugh at me? John wasn't just stuck in his job, he was stuck in his mind. He told himself a story that failure was the end of the world, that he wasn't good enough, that freedom was for other people. And so he stayed put. Every day, he woke up, went to work, and died a little more inside. Does that sound like you? Because here's the kicker: John wasn't stuck because of his circumstances. He was stuck because he believed he was stuck. He accepted a reality that wasn't real. And here's the part you need to hear: John decided one day to change the story. He decided that failure wasn't the end, it was just a step. He decided that living a life he hated wasn't an option anymore. He took a leap, and guess what? He fell. But he got up. And he kept getting up until he succeeded. Today, John runs a business he loves, wakes up every day with a sense of purpose, and knows what freedom truly feels like. His chains gone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tony, that sounds great, but I'm different. My chains are real. My situation is harder. And you know what? You're right. Your situation is different. But the principles of freedom, they are the same for everyone. And here's what I promise you: by the end of this video, you'll have the tools, the mindset, and the clarity you need to break those chains, to step into a life that feels authentically yours. I'm going to show you the path to ultimate freedom, not just the kind of freedom that looks good on Instagram, but the kind of freedom that makes you feel alive. You'll learn how to break free from the fear, the doubt, and the habits that have held you back for years. You'll discover that freedom isn't just possible, it's inevitable when you take the right steps. But let me warn you, this isn't just about listening to some motivational speech and feeling good for a few minutes. This is about doing the work. It's about taking the knowledge and turning it into action. So, if you're ready, really ready to stop settling for a life of mediocrity and start living a life of meaning, then buckle up. Because we're about to embark on the path to ultimate freedom. Are you with me? Let's go. Identify the barriers. Let's get real for a moment. What's holding you back? Think about it. What's the one thing stopping you from living the life you truly want? Chances are, it's not what you think it is. It's not your boss. It's not your bank account. And it's not your circumstances. The real barriers, the ones that truly hold you hostage, are invisible. They are the stories you tell yourself, the fears that whisper in your ear, the doubts that keep you small. Let's break it down. Fear. It's the big one, right? Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. We all feel it. But here's the thing, fear is just a projection. It's your brain trying to keep you safe by imagining worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened yet. And the crazy part, most of the things we fear never come to pass. But we let that fear control us, paralyze us, and stop us from even trying. And then there's self-doubt. That little voice inside that says, "You're not good enough. Who do you think you are to chase that dream? What makes you special?" Self-doubt is the killer of dreams. And the worst part is, it doesn't even come from you. It's a collection of every criticism, every rejection, every negative word you've ever heard, and you've made the mistake of believing it. Let's not forget societal expectations. The invisible rules we all live by. Go to school, get a job, buy a house, work until you retire. Sound familiar? Society tells us what success should look like, and if we don't fit into that box, we feel like failures. But let me ask you, whose life are you living? Yours, or the one society told you to live? And then there's the weight of past failures. Maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you took a leap, and it did work out. Now you're scared to try again because you don't want to feel that pain, that humiliation. But here's the truth, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can count. The difference is, they didn't let those failures define them. Emotional resonance. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're a bird. You've got wings that are strong and capable, designed to take you to the highest peaks. But you're sitting in a cage. The bars are made of fear, doubt, and expectations. You look out and see the sky, but you tell yourself, "I can't fly. What if I fall? What if I don't make it?" And so you stay in that cage, day after day, year after year, until one day, you look back on your life and realize you never even tried to open the door. Does that resonate with you? Because let me tell you, that cage isn't locked. The door is wide open. But you've convinced yourself it's safer to stay where you are, even if it means giving up your dreams. And that's the real tragedy. Not the failures, not the setbacks, but the opportunities you never took because you were too afraid to try. I want you to feel this. I want you to really sit with the pain of being stuck. Because unless you feel it, unless you confront it, you will never be motivated to break free. Statistics and facts. Let me hit you with some hard truths. Did you know that according to a recent study, 85% of people are unhappy in their jobs? 85%. That means most of the people you know are waking up every day, going to a job they hate, and staying there because they are afraid to leave. Or how about this? A survey found that the number one regret of people on their deathbeds isn't about money or achievements, it's about the things they didn't do. The dreams they didn't chase. The risks they didn't take. And here's another one. Researchers have found that fear is the most common reason people don't pursue their goals. Not lack of resources, not lack of time, fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. And here's the kicker. 90% of the fears we have are never realized. 90%. Think about that. You're letting your life be controlled by something that isn't even real. So now I want you to ask yourself, what's your cage? What's the story you're telling yourself that's keeping you from flying? Is it fear? Is it self-doubt? Is it the weight of other people's expectations? Whatever it is, name it. Call it out. Because the first step to breaking free is identifying what's holding you back. And I want you to really feel this. Feel the weight of staying stuck. Feel the regret of looking back one day and realizing you let fear win. Because here's the truth. You weren't born to live in a cage. You weren't born to settle for a life that's anything less than extraordinary. But freedom doesn't come to you, you have to go to it. And it starts by breaking those chains, one link at a time. Shift perspective. Take a deep breath with me. Right now, let's shift gears. Because here's the truth. The pain of being stuck. The frustration, the regret, the doubt, it's not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And let me tell you something powerful. You are in control. That's right. You might not feel like it right now. You might feel like the world is against you, like you're trapped by your circumstances. But let me tell you, freedom isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create. And the good news, it doesn't start with your boss, your bank account, or anyone else. It starts with one thing, your mind. Think about it. Everything we've talked about, the fear, the doubt, the expectations, they are not chains around your body. They are chains around your thoughts. And the moment you decide to take control of your mind, to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself, everything changes. The door to that cage opens, and you realize you've had the key all along. So, here's the breakthrough. Freedom is possible. Not just for someone else, not just for those lucky people you see on social media living their dream lives for you. Yes, you. No matter how stuck you feel, no matter how long you've been in that cage, no matter how many times you failed, your past doesn't define you. Your circumstances don't define you. What defines you is the decision you make right now to take back control. Introduce the path. But I know what you're thinking. Okay, Tony, that sounds great. But how? How do I break free? How do I create this freedom you're talking about? Don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, I'm not just going to tell you what's possible. I'm going to show you exactly how to make it happen. Here's the path we're going to walk together. 1. The mindset of freedom. It all starts in your mind. We're going to dig deep into how your thoughts shape your reality and how to break free from the mental patterns that hold you back. 2. The habits of freedom. Because let's be honest, freedom isn't about one big leap. It's about the daily choices you make, the habits you build, and the actions you take every single day. 3. The decisions that set you free. Finally, we're going to talk about the power of decisions. Because your life doesn't change when you wish for freedom, it changes when you decide to go after it with everything you've got. Create anticipation. And here's what's exciting. These steps. They are not complicated. You don't need $1 million. You don't need someone to hand you an opportunity. You don't even need to have it all figured out. All you need is the willingness to start. To take the first step. To believe that freedom is possible and that you're worth fighting for. So let me ask you, are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to stop living in a story of limitation and start creating a story of possibility? Because if you are, then buckle up. The path to ultimate freedom isn't easy, but I promise you it's worth it. And it's a path you don't have to walk alone. In the next sections, we're going to break this down step by step. We'll uncover the mindset shifts that unlock your potential. We'll explore the habits that build unstoppable momentum. And we'll dive into the decisions that lead to a life of true freedom. So if you're ready, really ready to take control of your life, then stay with me. Because the best is yet to come. The path to ultimate freedom. Step 1. Reclaim your mindset. Freedom is a state of mind. Let's start with the foundation of ultimate freedom. Your mindset. Why? Because everything begins here. Freedom isn't about your circumstances, your bank account, or even your relationships. True freedom is a state of mind. It's about how you perceive the world and your place in it. Think about this. Two people can experience the same situation, say, losing their job. One sees it as the end of the world, a reason to give up. The other sees it as a new beginning, an opportunity to finally chase their dream. What's the difference? It's not the situation, it's the mindset. Overcoming limiting beliefs. But here's the catch. Most of us aren't born with a mindset of freedom. We've been conditioned to believe things that hold us back, things like I'm not good enough. It's too late for me, or I'll never succeed. These are limiting beliefs, and they act like invisible chains, keeping you stuck. So how do you break free? It starts with awareness. You've got to recognize the stories you've been telling yourself. Here's a quick exercise. Think about one goal you've wanted to achieve but haven't. Now ask yourself, why not? Write down the first 3 reasons that come to mind. Chances are, those reasons are your limiting beliefs. They are not facts, they are stories. Here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And that means you have the power to change them. Let me share 3 techniques to reclaim your mindset. Reframe your thoughts. Whenever you catch yourself thinking I can't, replace it with how can I. This simple shift turns obstacles into opportunities. Daily affirmations. Every morning, look in the mirror and declare who you want to be. For example, I am confident. I am capable. I am unstoppable. It might feel awkward at first, but trust me, it rewires your brain over time. Gratitude journaling. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. Stories of transformation. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a single mom working 2 jobs, drowning in debt, and convinced she'd never break free. But one day, she decided to challenge her limiting beliefs. She started saying to herself, I'm not stuck, I'm resourceful. Little by little, her mindset shifted. She took night classes, learned new skills, and eventually started her own business. Today, she's not just financially stable, she's thriving. What changed? Her mindset. And here's the best part. If Sarah can do it, so can you. Freedom starts in your mind. And the moment you reclaim your mindset, the possibilities are endless. Step 2. Design your life. Intentional living. Now that we've reclaimed your mindset, it's time to design your life. Because here's the thing, if you don't design your life, someone else will do it for you. And trust me, they won't have your best interests at heart. Intentional living means making choices that align with your values and goals. It's about saying, this is my life, and I'm going to live it on my terms. But how do you do that? It starts with clarity. You need to know what you want and what matters most to you. Actionable steps to design your life. Write a vision statement. Spend 30 minutes writing a vision for your ideal life. Where do you want to live? What kind of work do you want to do? How do you want to feel every day? Be as specific as possible. Set boundaries. Freedom requires protecting your time and energy. That means learning to say no to things that don't serve your vision. For example, if you're working on a passion project, it's okay to decline a social invitation that doesn't align with your goals. Create a daily ritual. Design your mornings to set the tone for your day. This could be 15 minutes of meditation, journaling, or even a quick walk. Small rituals build big momentum. Relatable example. Let me share a quick story. John was a corporate executive who felt like his life wasn't his own. He spent years climbing the ladder, only to realize he hated the view at the top. One day, he sat down and wrote a vision statement. He realized he wanted to travel, spend more time with his kids, and work on something meaningful. So he made a plan. Within 2 years, he transitioned to remote work, downsized his expenses, and started coaching others on intentional living. Today, John isn't just surviving, he's thriving. Step 3. Take massive action. Consistent, bold action. All right, we've reclaimed your mindset. We've designed your life. Now it's time for the most important step, taking massive action. Because here's the reality, your dreams don't work unless you do. Freedom isn't handed to you. It's earned through consistent, bold action. Strategies for staying disciplined. Habit stacking. Attach a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you want to start journaling, do it right after your morning coffee. Accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust. Better yet, find an accountability partner who will challenge you to stay on track. Break it down. Big goals can feel overwhelming. Break them into smaller, actionable steps. Celebrate each small win, it builds momentum. Inspiring stories of persistence. Let me tell you about Maria. She wanted to run a marathon but had never run a mile in her life. She started small, just walking around the block, then jogging, then running. Every day, she took one more step toward her goal. And guess what? A year later, she crossed the finish line of her first marathon. Maria's story isn't just about running, it's about life. Every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to freedom. But here's the key, you've got to take that step. You've got to act. Because the only thing standing between you and your dream is action. Closing thought. So, what's your next step? What action can you take today to move closer to your vision of freedom? Remember, freedom isn't a destination, it's a journey. And every journey begins with a single step. Address common objections. But Tony, I don't have the time. Let's tackle the most common objection I hear. Tony, I don't have the time. Guess what? Neither did the person who built the life they love. They made the time. Time is the one resource we all have in equal measure, 24 hours a day. The difference isn't the amount of time you have, it's how you use it. Take a hard look at how you're spending your time. How many hours are lost scrolling through social media, binge watching TV, or saying yes to things you don't care about? What would happen if you reclaimed just 1 hour a day? That's 365 hours a year, more than enough time to build the foundation for your dreams. Actionable tip. Start with a time audit. For the next 3 days, track how you spend every hour. You'll be shocked at how much time is slipping away. Then, decide where you can reclaim time for what truly matters. But I'm too old/too young. Another common excuse is, I'm too old, or I'm too young. Let me tell you something. Age is nothing but a number. It's not the years in your life, it's the life in your years. Colonel Sanders did start KFC until he was 65. Malala Yousafzai was advocating for education at 11 years old. The world is full of examples of people who defied the odds because they didn't let age define them. Actionable tip. Write down one goal you've been putting off because of your age. Then ask yourself, what small step can I take today to start moving toward that goal? Remember, it's never too late or too early to live your dream. But what if I fail? What if I fail? Ah, the fear of failure, the great paralyzer. Let me tell you something. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every successful person you admire has failed. In fact, the bigger the success, the bigger the failures that came before it. Here's the truth. The only real failure is never trying. Everything else is just feedback. Failure teaches you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. Actionable tip. Reframe failure as a learning opportunity. Every time you fail, ask yourself, What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? Write those lessons down, and you'll see that failure isn't an end, it's a stepping stone. But I don't have the money. Tony, I'd love to follow my dreams, but I just don't have the money. Let me ask you this. Do you really not have the money? Or is it that you're not prioritizing your spending? Most people don't have a money problem, they have a priority problem. How much are you spending on things that don't bring you closer to your dreams? Starbucks every day. Subscriptions you don't use. What if you redirected that money toward your goals? Inspiring example. Oprah Winfrey started with nothing. She used her resourcefulness, not her resources, to build an empire. You don't need a fortune to start. You just need creativity and determination. Actionable tip. Start a freedom fund. Even if you can only save $5 a week, that's $260 a year. Use that money to invest in yourself, whether it's a course, a tool, or seed money for a project. Let's recap what we've covered today. Reclaim your mindset. Break free from limiting beliefs and take control of your thoughts. Design your life. Get clear on your vision and make intentional choices that align with your values. Take massive action. Consistent, bold steps lead to transformation, no matter how small they seem. We've tackled the common excuses and fears that hold people back, and we've shown you that freedom is not only possible, it's within your grasp. Now, close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, not to the sound of an alarm that drags you out of bed, but with excitement coursing through your veins. You're living a life you designed, a life where your work fulfills you, your relationships nourish you, and your days are filled with purpose. This isn't a fantasy, it's your potential reality. And it starts the moment you decide to take action. Now it's your turn. I challenge you to take the first step today. Right now. Here's what I want you to do. Comment below with one thing you're committing to change right now. It could be as small as writing down your goals tonight, or as big as deciding to leave a job that's holding you back. Whatever it is, declare it. Because when you speak it, you begin to create it. And if this video has inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, freedom isn't just a gift you give yourself, it's a ripple effect. When you claim your freedom, you inspire others to do the same. Your journey to ultimate freedom starts now. The only question is, are you ready to take the first step?